to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on our agenda is our auditor's financial report.
Okay. We began 2021 with a general fund cash balance of $14,988,895, with projected miscellaneous revenue, property tax, and deducting some circuit breakers. Our total available is $66,739,081. When you deduct the encumbrances, the budget, the minimum balance, and then we add in what we anticipate is unused budget for 21, our beginning net balance was $6,120,963. We've granted additional appropriations so far this year of $1,651,422. There are no requests for this month for the general fund. Our available appropriation as of right now is $4,384,193. The next page on the report is revenue for the general fund. And I just highlighted a few little things. 0131, this is commercial vehicle excise tax. And I believe these are like semis that have multi-county, multi-state plates that we get this money directly from the state twice a year. And we've received the first half of that distribution of $56,622.67, which is a little bit more than half of what we did anticipate for the whole year. Under intergovernmental 0281, public safety federal, the TEMA matching, we will receive $55,000 for the year for the reimbursement, half the salaries of the TEMA, most of the TEMA personnel, and we did receive that in the month. I think that that's all I had noted on the revenue. So we are at 18.2% of the general fund revenue received through the end of May, but of course property taxes will be coming at the end of June, so that number will be more in line with what we would be seeing. We go next to the fund balances. Fund 1000 is the general fund. We have an ending balance of $3,207,543.46. And again, property taxes will, and the whole settlement will increase that dramatically for the end of next month. So there's no concern that that's under the minimum balance that the council had set. 1112 is EDIT, the Lit Economic Development. And just want to mention here that we did have a supplemental distribution of Lit, and for EDIT, that was like $330,000. So that helped that a little bit. 1138 is cum cap. I just want to mention that because that one is in the hole right now at the end of May, but we will be getting, I believe, it's about $750,000 from the settlement, so that will bring that back up. And you know, we have had the general fund in the hole. Anything where it's in the hole because of not distributing property taxes yet, that's not a big concern. 1181 is the plat book fund, and I just wanted to mention this. This is one that's controlled by our office, and we do, since we pay our GIS person out of the general fund, we put $20,000 of money from the plat book into the general fund each year, and we've done that now for 2021. So next fund I had noted was 4710, which is the health insurance fund. There's a little bit of correction to this. There was a claim that was paid after this report was run, or it was posted after this report was run, but it was really for the month of May. This shows a little bit higher balance at the end of the month than it was at the beginning of May, but really it's a little bit lower. I've got $8.9 million, so it did go down a little bit, but we're still doing okay there. 4986 is the Lit Rainy Day Fund, where we had the $3 million we put in from CARES Act money a year ago, and now this $411,282. This is again supplemental distribution of income taxes that the state gave us, and as we discussed last month, we put that into this fund. We can pull this out at any point in time, and this money should all really be going to the general fund, because all the $3 million plus the 411 were targeted for the general fund, but they were just directed here instead. I have a couple more here. 8950. This is a brand-new fund. This is the American Rescue Plan, and we did receive half of our distribution, which is $19 million per half, so we'll have $38 million in total. This one comes now. The next $19 million will come 1 year from now, so we will see that. So far, obviously, we have not paid anything out there, and I think the plans are forthcoming as far as what to use that money on. The last one that I had noted was 9108, Community Crossing. We do have an additional appropriation, or an appropriation of this money is coming up in this meeting, but this is money that we receive every year, and there is some specific projects that Stu, I'm sure, will line up. And that's all I have as far as my report. If there's any questions?
Any?
Bob,
Go ahead. I was just going to ask this
do we know
question.
about the interest on the $19 million? Will we be able to keep that, or does that have to be spent with the 19?
We were told by State Board of Accounts, because I asked that specific question some time ago, and right now the United States Department of Treasury is the one who really controls all of the rules and regulations for this. They have been silent on this, but the State Board of Accounts has said certainly at this point, we want it to retain its own interest. Jennifer can answer whether it has to be in its own bank account, because I think she has some information on that. But the rules seem like they're changing quite regularly, and so that may change, but right now the interest is staying within this fund.
Any other questions for Bob?
Hey, Bob, the battleground fence, I've been watching this for half a decade, and someone destroyed the fence, and I thought that was when that fund was created. The fence has been repaired since then. Is it we just wait for somebody else to crash through it, or what? Why do we keep that battleground? $11,000 in there.
Well, I think we have to, that money was, and Alan Nail's the one to answer this question, when we've had this money for many, many decades, and it was to maintain that fence. And so we can't do anything with that money as long as, but the balance is going down over time, because there's, I believe the only revenue to that fund is, well, it's either reimbursements from insurance when somebody crashes through the fence, or just a tiny bit of interest that we receive. But there's no any real money that ever goes into that fund.
Just to chime in, I'm pretty sure that money probably came from the state originally, because it's actually a state constitutional requirement that they maintain the battlefield, so.
It surely won't change the name, will it? It surely won't change the name.
Okay, any other questions for Bob? Hearing none. Treasurer's report. Jennifer.
Good morning. For the month of May, our interest earned was $60,382.46. A majority of this was on the balance in the bank accounts. As we look at investments and what is coming up that matures, we're having a hard time finding good replacements of those. And so in some respects, we've moved money just back to the bank because we're earning more interest overnight than what we can get in longer term. So that might be continue to be the story for a little while this year. If you skip to, let's go to the landscape page with the distribution of funds. To answer your question, Kathy, I've added Fund 8950 here. As of yesterday, the answer from State Board of Accounts was that the interest needed to be retained in the fund, but it did not need to be held in its own bank account. So I don't have it on my first page, but I have added it to this distribution. So the interest on that $19 million for the month of May was $4,740. So quite a chunk there. And as we learn what the plans are for that money and what increments and how long we'll be holding it, then we can maybe come up with a better investment plan for it in particular. So for the general fund, through May, we are at $202,000 for, or $15 out of a total of $307,220,000, which isn't quite where I would expect to be at 41% of the year, but like I said, I think things are going to hold steady for at least the rest of this year, so probably no surprises there. The very last page that I've attached, just kind of my semi-annual update of some things going on. I always like to let you know where the property tax collection rates came in, and for spring, we were right in line with where we have been. Fall, we collected 11.55% of that already, which is about 0.5% higher than what we have done in the past. Staley Credit Union was up in collections. So I would expect this year to even surpass 2020. Online payments up significantly still, so we're looking good there. Interest I've talked about, and then just briefly as far as P cards go, I think we're on track to maybe hit $600,000 in total spend on the P cards. We have added about 4 cards this year, so we're getting close to 60 cards issued. Last year, we had significant purchases of PEPs, so not sure that we would surpass last year's spend, but it continues to increase. So unless there are any questions, that's all I had to report.
Any questions for Jennifer?
Councilman Winger, thank you for your service, and not just for that, but your leadership as well.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any public comment about our agenda items before us this morning? Hearing none, we start off with a resolution 2021-20-CL, which is our application of Ludofact USA for personal property. Doug, do you want to present that one?
Yeah, so this is for a resolution for a tax abatement. It's for the manufacturing equipment listed on the statement of benefits. It's set up as a 7-year abatement. The commissioners passed, because it's in a TIF district, the commissioners passed their piece of it yesterday, so that would not be an impediment. Normally, well, I shouldn't say normally, this only has to go through the one resolution because it's already in an economic revitalization area. If it had not been, then there's the declaratory confirmatory process. But since that already exists since 2014, this resolution would be all you'd need to pass to approve the abatement. There's also a memorandum of understanding, which generally call a clawback agreement. You guys had adopted a policy last year saying that if personal property abatements were granted, they'd be contingent on a clawback agreement, which basically says that if the equipment were to be taken out of the county, then we could recover the some or all of the benefits that had been granted to that point.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2021-20-CL for Ludofact USA LLC for personal property.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the resolution 2021-20-CL for the application of Ludofact USA for personal property. Anyone here from them that would like to present any information to us?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Lee Ramsey. I'm a Vice President of Ludofact USA, and want to thank you for reviewing our resolution. As mentioned, we are adding 7 new pieces of equipment and machinery. They're going to help us be more proficient in our jigsaw puzzle and board game business and allow for the future growth of our company. We do anticipate having 7 hires as a result of this new equipment, with total salaries of $233,000 annually.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, so can you explain what, having this tax abatement, how that affected your decision?
I'm sorry, background noise.
Can you explain how this tax abatement has affected your decision to add this property? Why are we giving you this tax abatement? How is that impacting your decision?
Sure. It's allowing us to purchase more equipment than we may have done otherwise without the assistance of the tax abatement.
And if we don't approve this tax abatement, what are the implications?
The machinery still is already been purchased and ordered. It'll be arriving next month and in August.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have a clear answer to that question.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Opposed?
I am going to declare the resolution as passed.
Thank you.
And then, as a follow-up, you should approve the memorandum of agreement, the clawback agreement.
Okay, I will take a motion to that effect.
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding with Ludofact USA LLC with the clawback agreement.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the memorandum of understanding with Ludofact USA. Any discussion concerning that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is passed. Thank you very much. Now we have a number of compliance with statement of benefits. First up is American Fiber Tech.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance statement benefits with American Fiber Tech Corp., CF1, real property,
Do you want to do the personal at the same time, Ben?
along with, and I'll add the personal property too,
Okay,
to that
thank
same
you.
motion.
All right.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the statement of benefits CF1 for American Fiber Tech, both real and personal property. Discussion. Is anyone here from American Fiber Tech would like to present this morning? If not, that's not necessary. Any other discussion from council? I have a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next one we have is from Dormy LLC.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance with statement of benefits with Dormy LLC, CF1, real property.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the CF1 Statement of Benefits form for Dormy LLC, real property. Discussion. Is anyone here from that particular entity? Would you like to come and speak just a little bit?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Mike Madrid. Excuse me. I'm the president of Highway Safety Services and the owner of Dormy LLC. We just completed our new building, moved in January, and things are going well on the highway front. A lot of work out there, so be safe. And we thank you for your help with our abatement, and we're exceeding what we projected as far as added employees, and we're planning for an even brighter future. We are having an open house June 19th or 17th. You're welcome to. We encourage you to come and see what you helped us do. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
I have a motion on the floor. If there's no other comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have statement of benefits from Allstate Fastener.
I'll make a motion, we approve the statement of benefits.
I'm sorry, GO3. I missed
For
that
GO3.
one. Sorry, I skipped one.
LLC, CF1, real property.
Those two are connected? Okay, we could do both of those together if we want.
And in
Ben?
addition, I'll add Allstate Fastener, CF1 personal property.
Okay, those are on the same property, by the way. Okay, I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon, to approve the statement of benefits for GO3 Fastener, LLC, CF1 personal property. Discussion. Is anyone here from Allstate Fastener would like to present this morning? If not, that's not necessary. Any other discussion from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have statement of benefits from Holdings LLC, real property, and Allstate Fastener, CF1, personal property. Discussion. Is anyone here that would like to present from those two? Any discussion from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Liquid Springs.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance and benefits for Liquid Springs Partners LLC, CF1 real property, and personal property as well.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon, to approve the Liquid Spring Partners LLC CF1 Statement of Benefits for both real and personal property. Discussion. Anyone here from Liquid Springs?
Good morning. My name is
Morning.
Dean Bartlon, President and CEO of Liquid Spring. I just want to thank the council for all their support over the past years. As you can see, we're doing fairly well. We're continuing to expand, diversify our products and markets, and we expect continued growth and support. And just want to say thank you. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
Just make note, we expect to see the actuals in the right column to be what was estimated, and your 52 actual additional employees compared to 8 estimated is exemplary, so thanks, Dean, for all your
Sure.
work.
Yes.
We're happy to oblige. Thanks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Ludofact USA LLC Statement of Benefits.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance statement benefits with Ludofact USA LLC, CF1, personal property.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the Ludofact USA LLC CF1 Statement of Benefits for personal property. Discussion. Anyone here from Ludofact?
Again, Lee Ramsey with Ludofact USA. We thank the council and the commissioner for the support we've had. We've had tremendous growth over the last few years and expecting to have even more growth in the coming years and hopefully additional hires through the Tippecanoe County area. So thank you very much for your support.
Discussion from council? Got a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Voestalpine Rotec Statement of Benefits for personal property.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance statement benefits for Voestalpine Roltech Incorporated, CF1, personal property.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the Voestalpine Rotec CF1 Statement of Benefits for personal property. Discussion.
I just want to add that they're down 33 employees from what's estimated to what is actual, and they are in fact leaving the community. I confirmed that with Scott Walker yesterday, so I just want to let you guys know that up front.
How do we,
Hit your button, John.
what do we do about that?
In the original resolution, and Doug, correct me if I'm wrong, I had Bob pulled up this morning, there is no clawback agreement from back in 2014. 2014-25-CL was a resolution in which it applies. I believe we're on year 7 of a 7-year abatement, so I will defer to Doug.
Yeah, so you raised some good points. The process would be, if you, I think it's not enough to just determine that they aren't compliant. You have to then set a hearing saying why you don't think they're compliant. And then you'd have to, at the hearing, it would have to be established that it was not just, I'm struggling with the language, but basically events beyond their control is not a reason to terminate the abatement. It has to be, so if it turned, I don't know their situation, but if it turned out that it was general economic downturn that crushed them, then that would not be a reason to get rid of the abatement. But if they mismanaged or didn't hire when they could have, or that sort of thing, then you could terminate the abatement. And so it requires an additional hearing. And one thing you'd want to look at is you're at the end of the 7-year abatement, so I don't know what the math is offhand, but 1/7 is the percentage abatement. So at this point, it's probably, auditor tells me it's 14. So the 14% abatement. So that would be the process you'd want to go through. You don't necessarily need to approve their statement of benefits here. You don't have to endorse it, but if you actually want to do anything to penalize them for noncompliance, you would want to set a hearing and notify them why you think that there's a problem, and allow them to come in and make their case, and then you hold an evidentiary hearing, basically.
When I asked Scott Walker yesterday as to the reasons why they're leaving the community, he pointed to tariffs as the reason. So, and what I don't know from a financial standpoint is how much will it cost us to go through all this, the legal process versus the return on investment, so to speak.
So we lost some tax dollars, property, or taxes from them. Wonder what that dollar amount was. It kind of sets everybody in a bad taste when somebody like this doesn't comply to a tax abatement.
This is
For the next
exactly
person
why we
coming
did the
forward.
clawback, and in retrospect, we would like to have had it then, but I agree that the cost of pursuing this, even if notable, would likely not be offset by what we got back. So fortuitously, it is the last year of this thing, and it sounds like there's headwinds legally. With all due respect to the lawyers of the world, we spend a lot of money trying to fight those headwinds. So, and to me, the acknowledgement or the acceptance of this statement of benefits isn't us saying we approve that they did this. We're simply saying we reviewed these numbers, and this is where they stand today. Is that correct, Doug?
So they're out on 52. But, how close is that to the pallet place?
Pallet Place is down at 28. This
Right.
is just south
Well,
of
this is just
Veterans.
south of it, right.
I think we also need to remember that in their prime, they were doing much more than they anticipated. When it came to new employees, they expanded that plant. So there was other benefits to Tippecanoe County beside that I'm sure way offset the abatement that we've previously granted over the years.
Any other comments?
Just thinking procedurally, what you're doing is, and maybe I didn't respond to Roland quite correctly, just looking at the form, it has the property owner is in substantial compliance, or the property owner is not in substantial compliance, and then if not, it tells you to adopt a second resolution, setting the hearing and all of that. If what you want to do is not find them in substantial compliance, but you also don't want to move forward with a hearing to take away the abatement, it might be best to, I think, withdraw the motion and take no action.
Ben, is that what you prefer?
I will make a motion to withdraw my original motion.
Do you agree, Kathy, with that?
Second.
Okay.
Because in instruction number 1, you can see that the designated body may determine whether they're in compliance. So it doesn't put anything on you. You don't have to decide one way or another. So I think this is the wise choice.
So with no motion, I will just say that unless I get opposition from council, we'll move forward with no action. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for the comments and the discussion. Wildcat Creek Partners LLC, CF1 Statement of Benefits for Real Property.
I'll make a motion, we approve the compliance to statement of benefits with Wildcat Creek Partners LLC, CF1 Real Property.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilwoman Vernon to approve the Wildcat Creek Partners LLC CF1 Statement of Benefits for Real Property. Discussion. Thank you for coming up. Good morning.
Good morning. That better?
Yes.
I'm Butch Huber, Managing Partner, Wildcat Creek Partners. We have leased our building to Ludofact USA for the last 5 years, and we'll continue to lease it to them for at least 3 additional years. Seems to be a little bit of a Ludofact USA theme this morning. I want to point out very briefly that the company has been extremely successful, as you can see by the CF1 numbers. Very proud of it. I'm proud of it as well. Initially, I was going to ask Lee Ramsey to come up and say a few words, but he's been up here twice. So I don't think you want him a third time. But thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions? Hearing none, any comments from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that is approved as well. Next on the agenda is our consent agenda, which includes the minutes from our meeting on May 11th. We do have one item that's going to be pulled from the consent agenda, which is the Fund 8488 appropriation for the Health Department, and that will be moved off to next month. So anything else that needs to be pulled for further discussion from the consent agenda?
The $5,000?
No, the 8488, the 389,641.
Okay, I see it, thank you.
Okay, if nothing else needs to be pulled, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with that change?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the change as previously stated.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the consent agenda with the changed as noted. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that is approved. Next up, we have additional appropriations. First one from Superior Court 7.
Mr. President, move approval of the salary statement for Superior Court 7 as presented.
Second?
Good morning. As you can see, I'm not Judge Moore, but I told him I'd take care of this for him.
Hold on, Shirley, let me
Oh, okay.
state that we do have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Winger, a second from Councilwoman Dolam to approve the salary statement from Superior Court 7 as presented. Now, Shirley.
Now, okay. As you may recall, during budget last year, with Superior Court 7 being a new court for this year, we had approved clerical, which at that time we didn't know who the judge would be or what they might want. So it was passed as an admin assist at Comet 3. After being in the position, Judge Moore has decided that he wanted to make the description fit more the duties, and so we are changing that to do so, and it is secretary/docket manager. It is still a Comet 3. It's just simply a cleanup to make sure that we have the right title with the right position for the salary statement.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that is approved. Next up, we have Pre-Trial Diversion Fund 2560 appropriation.
Mr. President, move approval of the additional appropriation request for pretrial diversion fund 2560 as presented.
I second that.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Winger, a second from Councilwoman Dolam to approve the Pre-Trial Diversion Fund 2560 appropriation of $15,000. Discussion.
Thank you. This is for transcription fees. As you know, the courts are back open, so we're back doing depositions and trial transcriptions. So we didn't spend it all last year, so we're going to catch up and spend more this year. I think we're at almost 25-plus jury trials since we opened up the courts in March. Just so you know, historically, we do about 35 to 40 for the entire year. So in about a 3 to 4 month window, we've done, what is that, 60% of the year's trial. So all the courts are busy, their staff, our staff, public defenders. And the hidden one is to law enforcement, because all these police officers that are out there are being subpoenaed now to testify. You know, they've gone through a terrible period of COVID, and now they're having to give up vacations because they're being subpoenaed to testify. You know, these are frontline defenders of us who their families want a vacation. They can't go because obviously they have to show up for trial. And that's a hidden part of the part of being a police officer or law enforcement is you have to show up for trial. So that's just all part of all this.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next up, we have APS Fund 9252, grant appropriation.
Mr. President, I move approval of the grant appropriation request for APS Fund 9252 as presented.
Second that motion?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Winger, a second from Councilman Dolam to approve the APS Fund 9252 grant appropriation in the amount of $391,014. Discussion.
Thank you. This is our annual grant we receive from the State Adult Protective Services to run our APS unit through my office that serves not only Tippecanoe County, but all the surrounding counties, so a total of 8 counties. This pays for the entire cost of the unit.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next up, we have salary statement.
Mr. President, move approval for the associated salary statement for the grant appropriation fund 9252.
Second?
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Winger, a second from Councilwoman Dolam to approve the salary statement for 9252 for the fiscal year 22 in the amount of $218,631 for the grant listed, as we've already discussed. Pat?
Yeah, this is to pay the salaries of our APS investigators.
This further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you.
And one more thing, today is National Best Friend Day, and I think it's appropriate. Councilman Winger, you have been the best friend of our community, of this council. I know when I came on and worked with you for the last number of years in the budget process, you're kind of a hidden gem in understanding the dollars and cents and projections and statistics and trying to look forward to what's going to happen in the next several years for the different offices that you were assigned to. With that, I'd like to thank you for being our best friend, and we're going to miss you.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, next up, we have a salary statement for probation.
Let the record show that I made those last motions on behalf of the prosecutor before he said that. Mr. President, move approval of the salary statement for the probation department as presented.
I second that.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Winger, a second from Councilwoman Dolam to approve the salary statement as presented from probation. Discussion.
Good morning.
Morning,
Excuse me, Dave Hellinger from your probation department. So I have 5 part-time positions on the probation side of my office that are funded either through general funds or also through probation user fees. Specifically, I'm down 3 part-time employees right now at the juvenile intake facility down at the jail. We've posted those, and we just aren't not getting many applicants nor qualified applicants. These are individuals that are typically college age, younger college age students that are looking for part-time employment. Unfortunately, $11.50 an hour, I'm challenged to find those people. I'm asking for approval to move the minimum salary up to $13.50 an hour. It's been $11.50 an hour since at least 2013, which is the last records I could find in my budget files. We have the monies available through the 2021 budget. There's enough money in the event that I were to hire 5 people tomorrow at $13.50 an hour. I have enough money left over, both out of the general fund granted for 2021 and also out of their probation user fee fund to cover those. I think that this is something I have to explore as far as funding in 2022. I'll have to speak with my council reps as to how what we can do to also assist in funding that going into 2022. The other side note is I was talking to one of my colleagues whose freshman daughter, sophomore, in high school, her summer job is as a coffee barista, and she's making $12.50 an hour. And I'm asking people to come in at $11.50 an hour and work oftentimes midnights, dealing with children and families in crisis down at intake, drug screening, maintaining the facility down at the jail. And so I'm just asking for approval to move to $13.50 if possible. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Questions for Dave? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Juvenile Alternatives, the JA Project Fund appropriation for Fund 2596.
Mr. President, I move we approve JA Juvenile Alternatives Project Income Fund 2596 SF22 for the amount of $4,330.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the JA Project Fund 2596 appropriation for the amount of $4,330 as presented. Discussion.
Good morning. I'm not Rebecca Humphrey. I'm Linda Tedder, Operations Director at Juvenile Alternatives and Carry Home for Children. And I'll start off by saying thank you for approving in the consent agenda our DOC, Juvenile Community Corrections, and JDAI grants. Our fiscal year runs July to June. So this appropriation that you're looking at now is for the user fee portion of that. Previous years, the appropriation has been significantly higher, but we can appropriation is just covering basic supplies, liability insurance, and vehicle maintenance.
Okay, any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next up, we have Truancy Mediation Fund 9203.
Mr. President, I move we approve Truancy Mediation Fund 9203 SF22 in the amount of $22,456.
Second. My mic on?
No, you have to push the button first.
I pushed it again. My mic on?
Yes, it is.
I must have pushed it too many times. Thanks, Tracy.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the Truancy Mediation Fund 9203 SF22 appropriation in the amount of $22,456. Discussion.
This pays for a portion of our truancy mediation coordinator. She's split between 3 different funds, and so this is simply salary and benefits for her.
Any questions for Linda? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have salary statements for both 9203 and another one.
Mr. President, I move we approve the salary statement for 9203 SF22 in the amount of $12,279.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the salary statement for Fund 9203 in the fund we just discussed. Discussion.
I don't have any further comment.
Okay. Any discussion from council? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have salary statement for Fund 9643.
Mr. President, I move we approve the salary statement 9643 SF22, the total amount of $147,650.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the salary statement for Fund 9643 SF22 in the amount of $140,650. Discussion.
This DOC grant pays a portion of the salary of our probation/surveillance officer. our evidence-based programming coordinator, school-based youth liaison who is stationed at Tecumseh, and a portion of that truancy mediation coordinator we've already talked about.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Health Department Donation Fund 4118.
Mr. President, I move we approve the Health Department Donation Fund 4118 for a total of $2,150.
Second.
This is just private donations and a
Kayla, hold on
donation
just a
from.
sec.
Sorry.
Just a second. I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the donation fund appropriation for Fund 4118 in the amount of $2,150. Now discussion.
Okay, so this is private donations and then a donation from American Suburban. We've used this to, in the past, to provide like snacks for the volunteers at the vaccine clinic.
Okay. Any questions? Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Why did they come in, two separate request appropriations? I mean, one came in later, or what, 75 bucks?
For the FEMA grant underneath
Yeah, I
it?
got a,
No, for the donation fund.
yeah, donation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
They're separate donations from,
got it. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
yep.
Okay, next we have Fund 9168, grant appropriation.
Mr. President, I move for the grant appropriation for WCI/FIMR Fund 9168 in the amount of $21,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Murray, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the grant appropriation for Fund 9168 in the amount of $21,000.
I do have a new appropriation for that, Bob, for the salaries. And that's to use for the FEMA. So IU, Saney, and North Central donated $7,000 apiece to help keep the FEMA program. The grant that we received from the state does not support that position full-time.
And so she just had the 21,000, and I think on her form should be the same as what we've got on the screen there. So
Yep.
there's the breakdown between Social Security. We need to add Social Security and PERF in there, so we need to reduce the full-time, the salary down a little bit to get to the 21,000 total.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation. Any further discussion or questions?
Do we need to make a new motion with the adjusted amounts?
Since
I think
it's
you're just appropriating the
the
money.
21,000, if the total's the same, does,
I don't think.
They are different lines, and we'll make sure the minutes will reflect
Okay.
the breakdown there.
okay.
All right, thank you.
All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have LRS Fund 1169 for highway appropriation.
I'd like to make the motion to approve LRS Fund 1169 in the amount of $425,000.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the LRS Fund 1169 appropriation in the amount of $425,000. Discussion.
This is simply a catch-up. Obviously, we're working a little harder this year because we were out last year. We have unappropriated $425,000 that we want to pick up out of our cash reserves. It's broken up into parts, streets materials, and roads and streets, basically crack sealing, paving, preservation. Question?
Any questions for Stu? Hearing none. Any other discussion? We got a motion on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Lowett Fund 1229.
I'd like to make a motion to approve LOIT Fund 1229 appropriation for $87,038.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham to approve the Lowett Fund 1229 appropriation in the amount of $87,038. Discussion.
This again is a capture of available cash balances. We're moving this into, all of this into streets and materials, which will cover paving and chip seal.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 4803.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Dust Control Program Fund 4803 appropriation in the amount of $20,156.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the Dust Control Program Fund 4803 appropriation in the amount of $20,156. Discussion.
This fund is where we provide 300 feet of free dust lay to anyone on a gravel road. We do allow them to purchase additional dust lay beyond that footage, and it's a minor contribution to pay for those materials. That piles up. It has reached the point where it's over $20,000. We did not dust lay last year because of COVID. We're dust laying this year. It's a good opportunity to recover that money, put it towards this year's dust lay.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Next, we have Fund 9108.
I move for approval of Fund 9108, funding year 22, $513,948.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Basham, to approve the Community Crossings Fund 9108 grant appropriation of $513,948. Discussion.
This is an ongoing grant from NDOT. They provide 2 opportunities a year to apply for counties up to $1 million a year with participation at a 50-50 rate. So we put in $1 million, they put in $1 million, $2 million. We found we've been most successful breaking that into the 2 applications, doing 500 at a time, $1 million projects. This was last July's application that we are working right now, $1 million in bridge patching and overlay preservation work. So once we bid, then we tell them what the actual bid came in. They send us half the money. We have to appropriate it now to pay the contractors. And this will happen again. We've got another $1 million, well, $500,000 towards $1 million culvert replacement. So we'll be back yet this year for another one of those.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have committee reports. I hear silence. Any unfinished or new business that we need to attend to? Have our normal reminders about budget hearings, which are coming up rather quickly. Commissioner FYI.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As most of you know, the ribbon cutting for the fairgrounds is at 3 p.m. today. Hope to see everyone there. Tomorrow at 11 a.m., TAF is doing their dedication for the county art project, which is located on River Road, the underpass under 52. So if you could join us for that, that'd be great as well. I know there were a couple questions today in regard to the American Rescue funding and that type of thing. I'm doing a half-day training on that on Thursday of this week, so hopefully we'll get some further clarification, and then the committee could meet again and we can try to get that plan put together. Want to say congratulations to Mike Spencer, who was awarded the Highway Administrator of the Year award by IACS this past week, so congratulations to him. And lastly, just to follow suit, I want to say thank you to Ron Winger. He's offered some sage advice to all of us, and he's been a critical eye for this county and a huge watchdog. So congrats on a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Bob, I see you've got the petty cash. Do you want to just?
Well, I don't know if Kelly's going to come up here. Come on down. They're requesting some petty cash to make change with. I'll let Kelly describe that.
Hi, I'm Kelly Morehouse from Tippecanoe County Community Corrections. We have recently been afforded the opportunity to have City Bus come back out to our building, which is a huge undertaking. It's taken us at least 3 years to get them to the table, to get them out there. So kudos to Jason and the rest of our team and the assistance of all of the county commissioners and council. We are requesting an additional $50 in petty cash so that we would have the ability to make change for individuals to purchase bus passes. They're $2 and $28, so it's not something that we normally have a lot of ones or anything on hand. We do have some petty cash up front, but when the office closes, that kind of goes away. So we want to have a separate till for them to make that change.
Do I have a motion to go ahead and do this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Richard, a second from Councilman Murray to approve the request for some petty cash for Tippecanoe County Community Corrections. Discussion.
Kelly, you write a claim out of your user fees? Is
Yes.
that where? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did speak to Marty Sennett the other day about how successful this new route is going. And in his eyes, he viewed it as very successful, over 30 rides a day. Just to give you some data to support the need for the additional money, that they are doing a phenomenal job of utilizing the services provided to them for transportation.
Yeah, and not only does it benefit us, but the Mail Inc., which has been relocated just down the street from us, they are also having significant ridership. So I think it's a twofold for the county.
Okay. Any other discussion concerning this? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved.
Thank you very much.
Any other public comment for us this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just wanted to introduce myself. My name's Katie Armentrout, and I'm the new community development educator at the Extension Office. And I even more recently just joined as the County Extension Director. I know I'm going to be working with a couple of you very closely with the budget very soon, so I just wanted to say hello.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kay. Before we take the last motion, I just wanted to say a special thank you to Roland for your service. And as has been noted, you've been a very wise counsel over the years and appreciate your participation and help to our community greatly.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and thanks, Roland. I know you and I sometimes didn't see eye to eye, but we both had the same goal in mind, and I appreciated everything that you've done.
Thank you, Kathy.
Anything else that we need to attend to here this morning? If not, I will take the last motion.
I move to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.